Minasan, konnichiwa. Dex des. O genki desu ka? Kyou wa topic ni Jogo o Happy Oshimasu. Title wa Food Trip desu. O nakagaskimashita ka? Make sure that you've eaten your food or snack because we'll be talking not just the Nihongo expressions but also adobo and hamburger. Ja, hajimemashou! In this topic, the main skills to be developed are the following: life and career skills, specifically leadership and responsibility by working with groupmates and conceptualizing an original burger dish and poster presentation project. Sige, information skills, specifically economic and multicultural literacies by thinking of ways to promote the unique Filipino burgers. Here are the grammar can-dos and Nihongo expressions that the students will learn in this topic. First, can enumerate ingredients of certain dishes in simple Japanese. Example, adobo ni wa nani ga haiteru? Adobo ni wa toriniku to, jagaimo to, tamanegi to, shoyu to, su ga haiteru. Second, can order and take an order at a fast food restaurant. Irashaimase, hanbaga o onegaishimasu. O nomimono wa ikaga desu ka? And third, can promote a hamburger conceptualized by one's own group. Let's talk about the summary of this topic. In session 1, discovering different variation of adobo in the Philippines. Here, the students will learn and practice how to enumerate ingredients of a certain dish. Session 2, identifying distinct features of hamburger in other countries. Students will discover how certain food can mirror one's culture, like hamburger. Session 3, group work, conceptualize original hamburger recipe. Students will think of their original burger recipe and shares with their groupmates to create their original Philippine-inspired burger dish. Session 4, common Nihongo expressions in fast food restaurant. Students will learn Nihongo expressions such as giving and taking orders in a fast food restaurant. Session 5, presentation of one's original Pinoy burger. Students will learn how a certain food mirrors one's distinct culture and appreciates any similarities or differences through their Philippine-inspired burger project. And last but not the least, Session 6, Review and Nihongo Review Quiz. Let's proceed to Session 1. The objective of this session is to develop life skills, specifically social and cross-cultural skills, by finding out about different variations of adobo. Students will compare and reflect the different ways of preparing this dish in different households and regions. Session 1, Grammar and Nihongo Expression Can-dos. First, can ask what ingredients a particular dish contains in simple Japanese. Adobo ni wa nani ga haiteru? Second, can enumerate ingredients of the different adobo dishes in simple Japanese. Example, adobo ni wa toriniku to, tamanegi to, jagaimo ga haiteru. They can also tell what is not present in their adobo dish. For example, adobo ni wa gata wa haitenai. In this session, the vocabulary that they're going to learn are the following: shoyu, su, ninniku, bay leaf, koushou, shio, tofu, tamanegi, zucchini, jagaimo, ninjin, and others. Please take note that there is no need to memorize all of the vocabulary. Please see teacher's reference for more information. This session composed of the following: topic introduction, language building, class sharing and discussion, and last but not the least, reflection. Materials to be used in this session are the following: photo panels of different versions of adobo, These are included in our entry materials. Second, handout featuring different versions of adobo, adobo B, C, D, E, F for group work. These are also included in our entry materials. Third, flashcards of basic ingredients that go into adobo. Niku, butaniku, toriniku, gyuniku, shoyu, su, ninniku, bay leaf, koushou, shio. Part 1 of this session, Culture Introduction. Tell your students that in this topic, the class will try to find out about the food people from different places eat, observe their similarities and differences, and discover how factors such as regional differences, individual tastes, and our exposure to different food cultures can affect the food we eat. After informing the students on the objectives of this session and choosing one field on their Gambaro list, we will introduce the theme of this session by showing them different pictures of adobo, which are included in our entry materials. Example flow of the conversation. Kore wa nan desu ka? Humba, asado, curry, adobo. We will ask them if these are onaji or chigao. After the students have finished guessing and sharing their opinions, tell them that although these pictures are all look different, they are all pictures of adobo. Part 2, Nihongo. In part 2 of this session, students will learn how to say what are the ingredients of their skin adobo. To review the Nihongo expressions, ask your students adobo gaski and use the expression doshite to ask them their reason for liking or not liking adobo. Then, to teach how to say the different ingredients of adobo in Japanese, ask your students if they know the basic ingredients of adobo. After hearing the reply, ask them to name the basic ingredients they know one at a time. As the students mention one ingredient in English or Filipino, post the flashcard on the board of the said ingredient in Japanese, and then read it aloud. For vocabulary building, point on each flashcards once more and ask students to read them one at a time. After reading all the flashcards, ask them to read and then say the meaning of each flashcard. In case that the students cannot recall the meaning, give the meaning in English or Filipino. Part 2, Nihongo. To review the students on the Nihongo vocabulary, you may ask them the question like, which ingredient is a condiment made by fermenting soybeans with water and salt? We often use it as a dipping sauce for foods like shomai and sushi. The expected answer should be in Japanese, which is shoyu. Always encourage your students to use the Nihongo words or expressions that they already know. Suggested mondai for the review are in our entry lesson plan. You may change the flow of the review or the activity to meet the needs of your students. You may make use of gamified activity for the review part. In this part of the session, students will learn how to enumerate the ingredients of adobo. But first, ask them to guess the ingredients of the adobo in the picture. This is adobo A. After guessing, tell them the ingredients of adobo A in Japanese. That is, adobo A ni wa toriniku to butaniku to shoyu to su to bay leaf to koushou to shio ga haiteru. Repeat the sentence twice and post the flashcards containing the names of the ingredients of adobo A. After that, ask the students to repeat the sentence they heard. And after hearing their answers, write down the sentence pattern on the board. Blank ni wa nani nani to nani nani to nani nani ga haiteru. You may also give other sample on how to enumerate the ingredients of adobo A using the pattern being shown here. Tell your students that with a given pattern, They don't necessarily have to name all the ingredients of a certain dish. When the students are able to enumerate the ingredients of adobo A smoothly, divide the class into small groups depending on the class size. Each group is given a handout that contains pictures and a list of ingredients of a certain type of adobo. Request the students to enumerate the ingredients of the other types of adobo using the pattern presented earlier. After students finish enumerating the ingredients for each type of adobo, ask them if they found any new words in the list that they read. List down these words on the board. After listing the Nihongo words that the students encountered in the activity, ask students to guess the meaning of these words in English based on what they see in the pictures. Once they give the correct answer, write the English meaning of those ingredients on the board. There is no need to ask students to memorize these additional ingredients other than the basic ingredients listed. Use the expression adobo blank niwa naniga haiteru to ask the students enumerate the ingredients of the different types of adobo. After the students name the ingredients for each type of adobo that appears on their handout, ask them if they can remember what expression was used in asking to name the ingredients of each dish. If students are able to say the question properly, the teacher proceeds to the next step. If not, repeat the question until the students are able to ask smoothly. After the students are able to say the Nihongo expressions smoothly, write it on the board on the top of the previously taught pattern. Underlined portions are to be added to the pattern already written on the board. When answering a question, nani nani niwa nani ga haiteru, students can omit nani nani niwa part. To practice the students on using the expression to ask the ingredients of a dish, ask the students to ask you to name the ingredients of the first three versions of adobo. When answering, remind the students that they don't have to name all the ingredients every time they answer this question. When students are able to ask about the ingredients of a particular type of adobo smoothly, tell them that they will interview their classmates about the adobo they prepare at home. Write down the expression to be used on the board when they interview their classmates. After practicing the pattern with the students for 1 to 2 minutes, the students are given 3 to 5 minutes to go around and ask at least 3 classmates what ingredients can be found in their adobo at home. They should write the results of their interview in their notebook. Students should be encouraged to react using the expressions such as "uishi so," "tabetai," "he, so nanda," etc. After the interview activity, ask 3 to 5 students to share what they found out during the interview with the rest of the class. The teacher may introduce the expression "nani nani niwa nani wa haitenai" if students would like to explain that a particular ingredient is not used in making a particular kind of adobo. Example, adobo e niwa tamago wa haitenai. Part 3. Class discussion and sharing. Ask the students what insights they got from interviewing their classmates. Then ask them why they think adobo recipes differ from household to household. Tell your students that adobo also differs from province to province. Briefly explain that Bikoro no adobo ni wa coconut milk to chiri ga haiteru. Batangas no adobo ni wa turmeric or luyang dilaw ga haiteru. You may download photos of different versions of adobo to show your students. Lastly, you may ask your students why their ingredients are different. Before ending the session, tell to the students that although ingredients may vary from region to region or from household to household, adobo serves both as a marker of Philippine identity as well as a marker of our own individual origins. taste, and preferences. We can learn about ourselves and other cultures by studying the food we produce and consume. And do not forget that there is reflection after this session. Now, let us have session number 2. These are the objectives of this session. Objective number 1, to cultivate life skills by deeper understanding on how food can be used to showcase one's identity and learn more about other culture. Objective number 2, to develop innovation skills by conceptualizing an original Filipino burger. Can-dos for session number 2, can read hanbaga and can share one's impression of a food item they have never tried. Example of the expression, Dono hambaga o tabetai? Type of burger no hanbaga o tabetai. The vocabulary to be mastered in this session is hanbaga, and they will also read and write the term hanbaga. Outline of session number 2. Part 1. Topic Introduction. Here, students will talk about different kinds of hamburger. Part 2. Culture Input. Teacher introduces different kinds of hamburgers in other countries. Part 3. Class Sharing and Discussion. Students will identify the features of hamburgers from other countries and how it mirrors one's identities and culture. Last but not the least, reflection. Materials to be used in this session. First, flashcard of the word hanbaga. Picture card of teriyaki burger to be prepared by the teacher. Next, picture cards of hamburgers from all over the world to be prepared also by the teacher. Part 1, Introduction, Nihongo and Culture. Start the lesson by making the student guess the theme of the day's lesson by showing them a flashcard with the word hanbaga, and then make them read it aloud. Explain that a hyphen is used to indicate a long vowel sound in katakana, just like in hanbaga. Once the topic has been introduced, tell the students that in this session the class will look at hamburgers from all over the world to discover what certain types of food are able to tell the class about different culture and to see how food can be used to showcase one's cultural or individual identity. After explaining the objectives of this session, ask the students if they like hamburgers, and then ask them what kind of hamburgers they like in Japanese. Please use the expression hambagagaski, dona hambagagaski. You may also ask your students to give the reasons why they like or dislike a particular hamburger. To continue the topic introduction, ask the students to name different brands or types of hamburgers they know, and then ask them what ingredients are found in these hamburgers using the pattern learned from session 1. Blank niwa naniga haiteru. Example, Jollibee niwa naniga haiteru? Jollibee niwa retasu to tomato to mayonnaise ga haiteru. Let's continue part 1 of this session. In this part, ask the students if they think hamburgers in the Philippines are the same as hamburgers in other countries and why. After soliciting the answers of the students, show the students the picture of a teriyaki burger and ask them where they think this burger is from and why they think it comes from this country. Please take note that in showing a picture of teriyaki burger, please be careful not to show the hiragana writing in the menu. Please download a copy of the picture from a trusted site. After introducing about teriyaki burger, ask the students if they have learned anything about the food culture of India, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia, and ask them to imagine what burgers are like in India, South Korea, and Saudi Arabia. After that, show samples of hamburgers from South Korea, India, and Saudi Arabia. As the students look at the pictures, encourage them to react using previously learned expressions such as "uwishiso," "tabetai," and others. You may download your own copy from the trusted site. Next, ask the students to name the ingredients of each burger using the expression blank niwa, blank to, ga haiteru. Please take note that students' answer should be based on what they see in the pictures or illustrations provided. There is no need to be so strict when it comes to accuracy of ingredients name. After naming the ingredients, ask the students to share their thoughts if the burgers they imagined earlier in this session is the same with actual burgers from these countries. Part 2, Class Discussion and Sharing. To start this part, ask the students if they were able to learn or observe anything new from looking at different burgers from all over the world. At this part, the students should realize that the food that we eat reflects who we are and what we like. We can learn a lot about other culture by observing what they eat. Different food culture influence each other. As a result, new dishes and new flavors are created. If time allows, ask students if they know of any foreign dishes that have been incorporated into Filipino cuisine. You may also share to the students the history of hamburger and the shapes that happen in this food or snack. After sharing some information about burgers, call the attention of the students, ask them to go back to the hamburgers they discussed earlier, and ask 3 to 5 students which hamburger they would like to try and why they would like to try it. Use the expression, "Minasan wa don no hamburger o tabetai? Watashi wa Hankoku no hamburger o tabetai," and ask them their reason by using the expression "doshite." Explain to the students the difference between donna and dono. Donna means what kind, while dono means which one. Dono is used if the listener is presented by choices such as pictures or any point of reference to choose from during the conversation. There is no need to encourage the students to say the reason why they want to eat a certain hamburger in Japanese, because it may limit the amount of information they will be able to share. If they want to explain in Japanese, the teacher may show the expressions found in the sample conversation explained earlier. Part 3, Culture Brainstorming. In this part, the class will conceptualize an original Filipino burger. Start with asking the students if they know of any burgers in the market that can represent the Philippines. Then, introduce to the students the Sanuki Udon burger. Your explanation will help the students to understand the task that they are going to do in this topic, and that is conceptualizing their Filipino burgers. After introducing Sanuki Udon burger, ask the students to imagine a similar type of burger that can represent famous dishes and cuisines from various provinces in the Philippines. Entertain 1 to 2 answers only from students, and tell the class to keep their ideas in mind for the next session. For the last instruction, tell the students to think of a hamburger concept that best represents the Philippines and writes it in their notebook for sharing in session 3. Remind the class to keep their ideas a secret from other classmates until next session, where they will formally present their ideas to the rest of the group, which is also be decided in session number 3. Please do not forget to ask your students to write their reflection in their notebook. Students have two assignments which will be used in session 3. Assignment number 1. Ask the students to finalize their concept of burger written in their notebook and be ready for the sharing in next session. Assignment number 2. Ask the students to bring katakana booklet and materials they have for poster making with group mates. We are now in session 3 of topic 25. This session aims to develop life and career skills, specifically leadership and responsibility, by working with group mates in poster making. Second, to develop effective communication skills by sharing and listening to one's ideas of a Filipino burger concept. In this session, the students will learn how to write hambaga properly, and they will also learn to present their burger and the ingredients of their burger using the expression name of burger, des, ingredient 1 to, ingredient 2 to, ingredient 3 ga, hai temas. For writing activity, students will practice writing hanbaga. This is the outline of session 3. In this session, students will learn how to write hanbaga. Second, group sharing. Students share their concept of burger with their group mates. Third, group brainstorming and project making. Students decide on their group's hamburger concept and make their poster. Fourth is reflection. Materials to be used in this session. First, flashcard with hamburger written on it. Second, students' copy of katakana booklet. Part 1. Nihongo review and writing practice. Show the students the flashcard with the word hanbaga written on it and ask them to read it out loud. Ask the students to identify the characters in the word hanbaga. To review the students, ask them what kind of hamburgers they like in Japanese. Donna hambaga gaski? And ask them the reason using the expression doshite. Tell the students that they will learn how to write the word hambaga in katakana. Ask them to take out their katakana booklet and notebook. Show them the stroke order of each character on the board and teach how to write each character properly. The students may further refer to their katakana booklet while they practice writing each character. In teaching the character please be extra careful with the type and the proper stroke order. Inform the students that they will use this in writing their promotional materials to be used in the next sessions. Part 2. Nihongo and group work. Divide the class into small groups consisting of 3 to 5 members or depending on the class size. Within their group, each student should share his or her concept of Filipino burger, which was assigned as a homework in session 2 to group members. Students should use the following expressions in introducing their own burger concept. Name of burger, des, ingredient 1 to, ingredient 2 to, ingredient 3 ga, hai temas. The student may briefly share why he or she thought of such concept in English or Filipino. After all the members of the group presented their burger concept, the group should be able to decide their group's burger based on the sharing of ideas. The group may opt to combine each member's ideas or choose a specific concept that all members have agreed. The following must be decided at the end of the session: burger's name, ingredients, reasons why those ingredients were chosen, and concept. Remind each group that their concept of hamburger must be kept secret until session 5, where they are going to present it to the rest of the class through a poster presentation. Once the group has decided the requirement in step number 5, they can proceed in designing and making their poster with the following information, which should be written on the lower part of the poster: burger's name, burger's picture, ingredients, price, promotional keywords of your burger. Tell also to the students that after their presentation in session 5, a contest will be held to decide which hamburger best represents the Philippines and its various provinces, while appealing to the taste buds of consumers. This being the case, students are told to start thinking about posters and other promotional materials they can use to sell their products. Last part of the session is reflection. For the assignment, ask the students to finish their posters as a homework and to bring their group's poster in the next session. Topic 25, Food Trip, Session 4. Is of Session 4. First, to develop life and career skills, specifically social skills, by pondering on the importance of quality service, of customer service in fast food culture. 2. To nourish informational skills, specifically economic and multicultural literacies, by thinking of ways to promote the unique Filipino burgers conceptualized in Session 3. 3. To acquire effective communication skills by applying appropriate expressions that commonly occur in a fast food restaurant. In this session, the students will learn how to order and take an order at a fast food restaurant. And these are the expressions that they will be learning in this session. Irashaimase. Order onegaishimasu. Ting wa price peso desu. Blank wa ikaga desu ka? Zehi tabete mite kudasai. Zehi katte kudasai. Additional words that they will be learning in session number 4. Hitotsu, futatsu, mitsu, yotsu, itsutsu, mutsu, nanatsu, yatsu, kokonotsu, to. We also have onomimono, potato, cola, juice, yasui. Here's the outline of Session 4, Part 1, Nihongo. Students will learn common expressions that occur between store clerk and customer in a fast food restaurant. Part 2, Role Play. Students will practice the sample dialogues using authentic materials such as menu to master the expressions. Part 3, Group Presentation. Students will work with their group members to finalize their poster and think of ways to promote their original burger concept. And part number 4, Reflection. Materials to be used in this session are the following. First, photo panel or illustration of customer and server. This is to be prepared by the teacher. Second, number cards, to be prepared by teacher also. Third, sample menu. This is to be prepared also by the teacher. Part 1, Nihongo, ordering at a fast food restaurant. To start the session, show a picture or illustration of a customer and a server at a fast food restaurant and tell the students the objectives of the session. Objective 1, to be able to order and take an order in Japanese. Objective number 2, to reflect on the importance of quality service. And objective number 3, to develop a deeper understanding of customer service and fast food culture. Once the objectives of the session are established, solicit the prior knowledge of the students on ordering and taking an order in a fast food restaurant by asking them to imagine what kind of dialogue is taking place between both parties in a fast food restaurant in either English or Filipino. Ask the students to think of the general flow of the dialogue and write this down on the board. Here's the sample flow. Server greets customer, customer orders, server tells how much his or her order is, customer hands over the payment, server thanks customer. After that, present a sample dialogue written on the board or in a sheet of Manila paper or cartolina, or slide presentation for your convenience, and ask students to read the dialogue line by line. Do not forget to explain about the teacher's note explaining the difference between wa ikaga desu ka and wa do desu ka. Another grammar pattern to explain is the use of onomimono wa ikaga desu ka compared with potato wa ikaga desu ka. After explaining the grammar pattern, ask the students to identify new expressions they found in the dialogue. As the students mention these expressions, ask them to figure out their meanings with the help of context clues, such as the location of the expression in the dialogue or the functions of these words. All the new expressions should be written on the board or on a piece of Manila paper or cartolina. Here are the words to be written: onegaishimasu, onomimono, potato, and ikaga desu ka. Inform the students that potato can also mean the vegetable potato. However, in fast food restaurant in Japan, the term French fries is not used to mean fried potatoes. Instead, the term potato is simply used. Next part is to introduce or review the Japanese counting system as shown here. To help the students practice saying the Japanese counting system, show them the number cards and ask them to read it aloud. The students will practice saying numbers first as a class, then later individually in random order. This can be done slowly at first, then later with increasing speed. After they master Japanese counting system used in this session, write the pattern item o quantity onegaishimasu on the board for reference. Students will use this pattern in ordering different items. You may use picture cards to help students visualize what they are ordering. You may use the suggested flow of dialogue to help your students review the Nihongo expressions on ordering items. Once the students know how to order individual items, then practice the dialogue with them. In order to master the dialogue, the students are divided into pairs and told to practice ordering in Japanese with one another. Partners should make sure to exchange roles. After students finish practicing the dialogue with their partners, ask the students how they were treated by their servers and what it felt like. Remind the students that good service can make a difference. Show the students a sample menu and make them practice ordering items from this menu using the pattern kono hanbaga, potato, nomimono, etc. o quantity onegaishimasu while pointing to the item they want. Remind the students to keep their realizations about good service in mind. Part 2. Culture and Group Work. Ask the students to take a seat with their group and take out their poster. Then show them a short sample presentation. Instead of using hambaga, the students may opt to use name of burger, baga, only, for example, Ryan Baga, because it will depend on the main ingredients of the burger the students created. After that, introduce adjectives the students can use to promote their hamburgers, such as uishi, yasui, juicy, and expressions such as ikaga desu ka? Zehi tabete mite kudasai. Zehi katte kudasai. If you say mite kudasai, it just means please look or watch. But if you say zehi mite kudasai, it means that You want someone to look at or watch something because you think it is very good. Other expressions using zehi. Zehi tabete mite kudasai. Please try to eat this because I think it's very good. Zehi katte kudasai. Please buy this because I think it's very good. Tell the students to master the expressions and sample dialogues they learned during this session so that they can do well in session 5. Give the students time to prepare their respective presentation for session 5 and remind them that their presentation should last 1 to 2 minutes at most. There is reflection at the end of the session. As for the assignment, ask the students to continue preparing their posters and promotional materials for session 5. Topic 25, Food Trip, Session number 5. Students will develop their life skills, specifically social and cross-cultural skills, by scrutinizing how different cuisines influence one another in discovering how food can be used as an expression of one's identity. The content of this session is can promote a hamburger conceptualized by one's group. Outline of Session 5, Part 1, Topic Introduction. Teacher briefly explains the procedure and rules of today's session. Part 2, Poster Presentation. Students do a poster presentation of the original burger concept. Part 3, Burger Shop Roleplay. Students will choose the best burger of the class through a burger shop roleplay using the Nihongo expressions taught in this topic. Part 4, Reflection. Materials to be used in this session are the following: posters created by each group, order slips, and calculators to be prepared by the teacher or the students if necessary. Part 1, Nihongo and Culture, Group Presentation. To start the session, ask the students if they still remember what they learned during the previous session or sessions. Then inform the students on the objectives of this session, which is seeing how different cuisines influence one another and discovering how food can be used as an expression of one's identity. After informing the students on the objectives of the session, explain the mechanics of the group presentation. Tell them that as you call the number of each group, they will come forward, introduce the name of the group and its members, show the other members of the class your poster and explain the group's original Filipino burger. Tell them that each group has 1 to 2 minutes to present in the front of the class. Other members of the class should listen closely to each presentation and choose which burger they would like to order later. Ask the students if they still remember what expressions they need to use during the presentation. After this, conduct a short review. As you conduct the review, write down key phrases on the board for the students to see, such as aisatsu, grupo no namae, memba, hanbaga no namae, hanbaga no ingredients, strong points, price, invitation, and closing statement. Give students 3 to 5 minutes for the final preparation. After it, students will present their original hamburgers by group for 1 through 2 minutes. After each group presents, posters are displayed on the board for students' reference during the next activity. Part 2, Nihongo and Culture, Voting Activity. After the students finish presenting their original hamburgers, ask the students if they have decided which burger they would like to order. After it, explain the method and the mechanics of the voting activity. The sample explanation is provided in our entry lesson plan. You may follow this sample flow or you may craft your own flow without compromising the objectives of this activity, that is teaching the students on how to order and take order in fast food restaurant in Japanese. Regarding with the minimum and maximum number of burgers to order, you may change the rule about it depending on the class size or groups. Before the activity, conduct a short review on the expressions used when selling and ordering hamburgers at a fast food restaurant. After this, practice a shortened version of the dialogue for ordering hamburgers with the class. Servers and customers practice their respective lines until they can say them smoothly. You will also explain the procedure for filling out order slips. Once the instructions are clear, ask some students to arrange several tables or chairs like a counter. This should take around 5 minutes, but students should try to get this done in the shortest possible time. Some groups may sell beverage, but only their burger sales will be counted. As soon as the servers have finished summarizing their order slips, ask each of them to read out their total sales for each burger, while a volunteer is assigned to tally the result on the board. Servers are encouraged to read out their sales in Japanese. Please check if the numbers they are reading out is correct. When all the orders have been counted, congratulate the group with the most numbers of orders and ask the rest of the students why they think that the winning burger was the most popular and whether they believe this burger truly represents the Philippines. After hearing their answers, ask one or ask other groups how they could improve their burgers to make them more popular or represent the Philippines even more. After members of one group finish thinking about how to improve their burgers, other members of the class are encouraged to give feedback, specifically comments and suggestions on their classmates' work. To close the session, tell the students that as seen in the previous activities, some dishes cross international borders but cultures that incorporate these dishes into their culinary landscapes often add their own unique flavor to the dishes they accept. Sometimes flavors are adjusted to local taste and sometimes local ingredients are added. These are just some of the ways cultural and individual identities are reflected in the food we eat and prepare. The teacher also explains the importance of writing down our ideas and getting comments and suggestions from our peers. The last of the session is reflection. We are now in session 6 of topic 25. The objectives of session 6. First, to enhance learning and innovation skills by being able to use a word map to recall the words and expressions learned not only in this topic but in all the topics learned so far, and by being able to connect and relate them to each other through meaning, usage, and etc. Second, to develop life and career skills, especially initiative, self-direction, and responsibility by being able to reflect on one's learning and by being able to monitor one's progress. At the end of this session, students can connect and co-reference related words and expressions learned so far. Session 6 is intended for the review. Students will have their Nihongo review quiz. They will also fill out their word map, and last but not the least, they will write their reflection. In this session, the class will be using Nihongo review quiz. The students will also be needing their entry book for their Gambaro list and the word map. Part 1, Nihongo review quiz. Before administering the Nihongo review quiz, ask your students about the theme and the things they learned in this topic. Next, briefly review the students on the Nihongo expressions that they've learned in this topic. Example, how to say the ingredients of a certain meal, describing ingredients of the different adobo or hamburger. What are the Nihongo expressions that commonly occur in a burger shop? And how to do a poster presentation. After that, you may now administer the Nihongo review quiz. Next, you're going to distribute the word map to be accomplished by the students. This word map will help the students build their vocabulary. Give your students 5 minutes to write their own vocabulary related to this topic. Then, the students may share the vocabulary map in the class and briefly review them. If there is no time, the students may share their vocabulary map with their seatmates. And after the sharing portion, you will ask your students to paste their vocabulary map in their entry book. And please do not forget the reflection part. Okay, so that's the end of my presentation. 皆さん、お疲れ様でした。ありがとうございました。